Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is Wednesday night and not Tuesday night. Yesterday, I was supposed to do a live show, but between technical difficulties and having some emergency phone calls come up and everything, I just wasn't able to make last night's show. However, I am here on the show tonight, and we've got a good show for you coming up. There's a lot going on in the world today, not the least of which is the Democrats' big push under Biden-Harris and the Democrats' big push in the different states to not only migrate out of blue states towards red states. I don't think that that's an accident. I think that some of this is intentional. Some of which, ladies and gentlemen, I believe is Democrats getting tired of living under Democrat rule. Now, the big question is going to be whether or not they get to these red states and they decide to continue to vote that the way that they did before. There's a lot of people that believe that these Democrats are going to magically leave California and they're going to magically arrive in places like Nevada, places like Arizona, places like Texas, Florida, different places, and that they are going to somewhere along the way leave their values behind. As conservatives, I believe that if this is what we think is going to happen, or if you believe that's going to happen, you're naive. Typically what happens is that people leave blue states and go to red states and take their values with them. And what ends up happening is that over time, you end up with dire situations. I can tell you that when I was a child, California was a red state. And that wasn't that, I'm not young, but I'm certainly not that old. And just over time, a lot of blue people ran out to California and lost their minds somewhere along the way. But anyway, we're going to jump into that a little bit tonight. Plus, I'm going to give you guys an update on the rally and what's going on with the rally. Let's see here. We're going to go over some of the comments tonight, and I'd like to answer some questions and so forth. There's been some news. There's been some news that hit the press today, and the Seattle Times has found it. We just can't seem to get away from these guys, but they ended up reporting on some news that hit the FEC, not the PDC. I see some comments here from Gordon here. It says Lauren filed with the PDC, not the PDC, FEC. So we're going to be discussing that just a little bit, and also I'm going to be taking your questions on different things that are going on around the state of Washington as well as nationally. Living in Washington, it's easy. I live down here in Nevada, but having spent the last 2 years of my life in Washington, it's easy to just get kind of myopic and get focused on Washington and the different things that are going on in Washington. And there's really a larger play in place, ladies and gentlemen, that's going on nationwide. The Democrats, I don't know if you've noticed, have become super aggressive. The Democrats, they used to play the long game, right? They used to play, they used to inch the ball forward, and then they would end up with a win. It seems like since President Trump was elected in 2016, the left has basically lost their mind, poured gasoline on the fire, and really pushed this thing as hard and as fast as they possibly can. This does a couple things, some of them positive for the Democrats. It puts a lot of pressure on the right to keep up with everything that is going on. It puts a lot of pressure on the right when there's so many fires. You just kind of stand there and wonder, which one are we going to fight first? It puts a lot of pressure on the right to make sure that they get messaging, and by the right, I mean the Republican Party, to put the right messaging in place, the right narrative in place to drive turnout. Because the Democrats, one thing they do very well, ladies and gentlemen, is they show up. They show up, and they're going to vote blue no matter who. I don't care. In some of these races, you could be running in a race against a Democrat, and the Democrat could be Jeffrey Dahmer. And some of these voters are going to vote. They're going to vote people leader 10 out of 10 times. They're going to find a reason. They're just going to look away and say, you know what? People leaders aren't so bad. And they're just going to check the box next to the blue guy. Republicans were not really that way. We either we're going to stay home, which is not good because Republicans that stay home elect Democrats, or we're going to find another alternative, or we're going to write in Mickey Mouse, or we're going to do something, and ultimately we're not going to help our cause. Now, I'm not saying that you should just blindly vote red. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be thoughtful and considerate. But what I am saying is that you should be involved. And you should be involved with candidates who step up and have the right values that are all about constitutional conservatism. I really believe that this quote unquote wing, as it's been framed in the media, this wing of the Republican Party that is, some call it the Liberty Caucus, others call it the constitutional conservative wing. One thing it is not the mainstream wing. It is not the Main Street wing. It is not the moderate wing. It is not the squishy Democrat light wing. I'll tell you that. I really believe, ladies and gentlemen, that constitutional conservatism sells. Just constitutionalism in general. I mean, what's wrong with the Constitution? I mean, it seems like everybody on the left wants to change the Constitution, except for when it's convenient. And it's just stunning. It really is stunning. So, we've got these fires, these riots, these different things. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what communists do all over the world. If you have still not clued into this, if you still think that people that call the Democrats and those on the left communists and socialists, you just think, oh, that's just tinfoil hat stuff. That's just extremist stuff. Well, listen, I got to tell you, you are really missing the boat. Because there are communists and socialists all over the left. And that is what they have become. And they are in full panic, full attack mode. They're like a cornered animal. And they are going to do everything they can do. Congresswoman, I can't remember her last name, Waters. I think she went up, the one that went up to Minneapolis. Her name escapes me. Really bitter looking old lady. She went up to Minneapolis and encouraged people to become more confrontational. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you that if the left becomes any more confrontational, there's going to be dead people in the street. Because someplace, somewhere, someone's going to be confrontational. Maxine Waters. Thank you, Frank. Maxine Waters. Someone somewhere is going to be confrontational with the wrong person. They're going to run up on somebody's mansion like they did in St. Louis. And folks are going to come out, and instead of threatening to defend their property, they're just going to start shooting people. This type of rhetoric is dangerous. It is dangerous not only to our republic, not to our democracy. Ladies and gentlemen, we do not have a democracy. We have a republic. And in a republic, the rights of the individual are protected against the mob, against the majority. And these people in St. Louis walked out with their guns and defended their property. I think some of you remember this. I believe this happened last year. I'm telling you, people, I'm calling it on this show. It's gonna happen. Some of these extremist left groups, these violent communists, these Antifa people, some of the violent wing of the BLM movement are going to run up on the wrong group of people, and folks are going to leave in body bags. It's going to spark an urban war. I don't believe it'll start in a rural area. I'm not saying it won't spill out into the suburbs, but I'm telling you, people, it's going to happen if we don't get this under control. And you might think, well, damn, Chris, that's kind of not very cheery. That's not why I tuned into your show. I'm not here to blow sunshine at conservatives on the right. I'm here to give you situational awareness of what is going on. We are in a very precarious, we are in a very dangerous place in history, ladies and gentlemen. We are in a place in the next 2 to 3 years that is going to determine the course of our children and our grandchildren's reality for at least a generation. At least a generation. Now, you might think, well, we've got the Second Amendment. Well, let me tell you something. They're coming for the Second Amendment. And I know the response to that because it's the same response. I'm going to give them their gun. I'm going to give them my gun, one bullet at a time. And it's going to be coming in hot. And I know that there are millions upon millions. There are 65 million plus gun owners in America, over 1 trillion rounds of ammunition. And if you don't believe them violating the Second Amendment, forcibly sending the police, a militarized police who defy the Constitution. Listen, I'm 100% pro-cop. I believe that we need to back the blue. I'm involved with several organizations that back the blue. One of my best friends owns a company in the law enforcement space. Lauren Culp, one of my best friends, former chief of police. I'm 100% backing the blue, and I believe we need to back the blue in our first responders. However, I will say, not every police officer is made equally. Not every police officer wakes up in the morning and thinks, you know what, I'm going to go out there and support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Not everyone that joins the military and raises their right hand and takes that oath, ladies and gentlemen, is going to uphold that oath. We're in a very dangerous situation, ladies and gentlemen, where if they start going door to door, taking guns, it's going to start a war. I'm just telling you. They're not sending in the blue hats from NATO. They're not sending foreign powers. Logistically and tactically, there's no way for a foreign power to attack the United States. There's just not. And we can maybe argue that in another show, but there's just not. It's going to happen. If we're ever subverted, if we ever lose the republic, it's going to come from inside. We will collapse from the inside, and the people who were supposed to support and defend the Constitution will not have. There's a big push going on. I've had several conversations today with some leaders that are kind of doing some things behind the scenes in the state of Washington regarding voter integrity. Voter integrity is more important now than it ever has been ever before. Secretary Wyman has single-handedly, well, maybe not single-handedly, but she has led the charge with this mail-in voting to facilitate the massive fraud that we have seen take place not only across Washington state, but across the nation. So they're attacking, the left is attacking, the communists are attacking at every angle. Now, you know, those of you that are regular watchers to the show, my wife and I, specifically my wife, is very involved in South America. My wife is from South America. She's from Bolivia. Those of you that don't know the story, my wife had to flee. She was one of the leaders of the resistance movement against the dictator Evo Morales that took over Bolivia. He is a Fidel Castro acolyte, and all of the dictators in South America, Maduro, all of them are all from that family, the Castro regime. And what you're seeing in America, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly what she saw 15 years ago. What you're seeing today, I don't know if you've seen the video of 200 police officers showing up to a church in Canada. Now, I understand we're not Canada, Chris. You're saying all this in all these other countries. It's not happening here. Well, listen, it is happening here. It is happening here. It's happening in Washington State, where they're trying to shut churches down, even though they said they wouldn't. It's happening here. It's happening here. Here in Nevada, they just passed another anti-gun law today. It's happening here. And where are the Republicans at the state level? You know, I've beat the Republicans up a lot. I really have. And and not all of them are bad. You've got some good ones. But you've got some that are just not good. And JT Wilcox, Senator Braun, where are you guys at on this pushing back? Well, we're the minority. Well, whose fault is that? Whose freaking fault is that? It's their fault. It's their responsibility. So we're going to do something about that this cycle. And then this last election, in the 2020, during the 2020, the Dems brought this bullshit impeachment thing against the president. There's no other way to put it. It was just bullshit. Complete bullshit. There was no due process. There was nothing. He was acquitted. His rights were violated. They just ran straight over his constitutional rights. No due process, no nothing. And there were 10 Republicans who sided with Nancy Pelosi. 10. Who sided with Nancy Pelosi. Who sided with the Squad and AOC and Rashida Tlaib and Omar and all those wackadoodles and Swindell and all the guy that's screwing a Chinese spy. Nothing happens to these people. And these 10 Republicans who were supposed to carry the standard, carry the flag, defend the Constitution, stand up for your rights, your constitutional rights. They swore an oath to go above and beyond politics, to defend the Constitution, to defend the people that live in their damn constituency. And they voted 20%, 2 out of 10 were from Washington State. Unbelievable. So I want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I am not taking this laying down. I am not taking this lightly. I want a diplomatic, I want a nonviolent, I want a solution that is made through the election process that is fair to right the wrongs. And so currently, there are 4 races in Washington State, 4 congressional races that I will be involved in directly. One of the races, I was talking to a candidate yesterday. And that was one of the emergency conversations I had to have, which is why I wasn't on my show last night. But I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, there are going to be, in the 4 winnable districts in Washington State, you will have 4 constitutional conservatives who are willing to stand tall for the Constitution, who have proven that they will stand tall, who've already been shoulder and shoulder in the fight. That I can promise you. We've got 2 of them already on board, and there are 2 more that are coming. Not to mention the fact that there are organizations that are working together, one of which is the New Patriot PAC. They're working with the New Patriot PAC to work on voter integrity. And there's a big voter integrity push. There's a lot of things that are going on, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to tell you something. If the Democrats believe we're going to make this easy, and if the mainstream, weak-ass Republicans in the middle, the Jamie Herrera Butler, Jamie, if you think, Congresswoman Butler, if you think that I'm going to give you a free pass, or that anybody who supports freedom and liberty is going to give you a free pass for that bullshit that you pulled in front of God and country, and that you're just going to skate into another victory, you are wrong. You are wrong. There are already 3 very strong candidates that are going to run against Jamie down there in the 3rd congressional district, one of which is going to be on the platform in Tri-Cities at the rally Friday night. I want you guys to come out, take a look at him, hear what he has to say, ladies and gentlemen, and assess him accordingly. In the 4th congressional district, Dan Newhouse. I don't know what Dan is thinking, voting against the president in a district that voted for the president plus 13. plus it's an R plus 13. There are like 5 squishy Republicans in the entire central part of Washington state. And this guy thinks it's an amazing idea. He thinks that it's just a great idea, that he's going to lead the charge against the president. That's the dumbest thing I think I've ever seen a politician do. Honestly. But he's got something coming for him. Kathy Mcmorris Rogers, to her credit, she kept her mouth shut because she is in a dangerous district. She's in a district that very much supports the president. So she kept quiet, but it is not a secret that she is definitely not a supporter of America First or constitutional conservatism. She will have a challenger, ladies and gentlemen. She will have a challenger. Kim Schreier in the 8th. The 8th is trending left. It was even, now it's +1. You say, Chris, why is it +1? Well, I'm going to tell you. It's because the Republicans haven't run anybody credible against her. But they will this cycle. That I can tell you. Patty Murray is not going to get a free pass. She has a strong challenger. And this challenger, I've looked at her. She's hiring the right people. She's talking to the right folks. And I believe that it puts, I really believe this, it puts, if we can get the fraud under control, if we can get these things under control, it puts Patty Murray's seat at least on the board. I'm not going to say it's completely winnable and that she can knock it out of the park. But what I am saying is that Patty won't be given any money to any other Democrats just because she got money laying around. She's going to have to spend every dollar she has in order to defend her tennis shoes and her, that mom thing she's got going on. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. So that is where we're at, ladies and gentlemen, nationwide. There's a lot of stuff going on. The Democrats are coming for Florida. Let me tell you that. They're coming for Florida. They're coming hard. My company is involved with an organization down there. Save Our Sunshine State is the name of the organization. They don't have a website up yet. That website will probably be up within the next couple of weeks. If Florida, why does that matter to Washington? You say, Chris, Florida couldn't be any farther from Washington, which is true. But if Florida goes down, if Florida becomes blue, it's over nationally. If you have California and Florida on the big board in the presidential, it's all done but the shouting. Defending Florida at all costs. You say, well, Chris, DeSantis is super popular out there. Yeah, but DeSantis barely won his race last cycle. He barely won his race, and the person he was running against is a drug addict and was pictured and filmed in a homosexual situation, which if that's your thing, that's your thing. I don't care. I'm not judging him. I'm just saying, and it could have been a non-homosexual situation. But the problem is he's married. Drugs, paraphernalia, all these pictures came out, and DeSantis barely won in that race. And it's not because DeSantis isn't an amazing candidate. Ron DeSantis is an amazing governor. He was a great congressman, and he's a great human being. But the dynamics in Florida, if we don't fix it, we could lose it. Arizona, another state, we could lose it. Arizona is a purple state. It's not a red state. We could lose it. Why does that matter to Washington? Well, because if we lose Arizona, it becomes super difficult on the big board for the presidential. Nevada, where I live, Las Vegas, starting to trend right because there are a lot of Democrats in Nevada that are thinking, we might be Democrats, but we're not communists. We just had a mayor here locally that switched parties in the Las Vegas area. Longtime Democrat. Governor Sisolak here is unpopular, even amongst Democrats. People in Clark County down here in where Las Vegas is are not happy because Las Vegas basically shut down. The state is basically bankrupt because Sisolak shut down the whole state. So Nevada is trending towards the right. Oregon is hopeless. I just don't know what to tell you there. I don't see Oregon doing anything different than Oregon's ever done. California had a couple districts, congressional districts, trending right. However, California will remain deeply blue. Texas is starting to trend back towards the right, even though for a couple cycles they were trending left. So I think they've got that under control in Texas. Why does all this matter to you, ladies and gentlemen? Because if you care about the direction of the country at large, you need to care about what's going on in the rest of the state or in the rest of the country. You just do. These federal races are important. It's important to the balance of power. It is important to the balance of power. If we end up with a split Congress that is half one way, half another, or maybe there's a majority of like +1 or +2 for either party, we can't have people like Dan Newhouse and Jamie Herrera Butler siding with Nancy Pelosi and the squad. We just can't do it. We just can't do it. So that's why these things are important, ladies and gentlemen. On Friday, this coming Friday, we're going to be having an amazing rally. It's one of the bigger, my production crew, those guys, Frank and Otto. If you don't know those guys, come out to the rally. I'll introduce you to them. They're amazing guys. They do a tremendous job. If any of you have been to any of our rallies with all the lights and the stage and the big LED sign, these guys, they do one heck of a job. And this is going to be one of the best rallies we have ever put together. We need you guys to come out to Clover Island in Tri-Cities, in Kennewick. Go over to www.thenewpatriotpack.com. All the details are going to be there. You guys need to get over there and check out that rally. Last time we had about 500. As far as the response go to the event on Lauren Culp's page, we feel like we're going to have probably about the same or more. We need to get as many people. Lauren's going to make a formal statement regarding Congress, regarding running for Congress. He's going to make a formal statement. It's been all over the news today. The Seattle Times broke the story that Mr. Culp has filed paperwork officially with the FEC. It's all public record. You can go there right now and check it out. So you want to be a part of this historic event. You want to be a part of this historic event. You are not going to want to miss this event. You're going to want to come out. There's going to be great food, fantastic music by Dakota Poorman, who's a Nashville recording artist. And he's a Washington guy. He lives over in Maple Valley. He's one of my great friends. He's fantastic. I don't care if you live on the west side. I don't care if you live on the east side. If you're listening to this and you're in Idaho or Oregon, I don't care. Drive up to Tri-Cities. You are going to have one heck of a time. So let's go ahead and take some questions here from the feed here. So I'm looking off camera because I'm looking at the feed off to the right. Did you guys like Lauren doing a live show last night? I thought that was kind of awesome. He jumped on there and just jumped right in. He did a great job, and I wasn't surprised. He's a smart guy. He can figure out his technology, but he just jumped right in and did it, and he had a great time doing it. He actually would rather me not do the shows. He would rather do the shows and just interact with you guys. That's who he is. So. Let's go ahead and take some questions. If you guys have questions down here, go ahead and put them in the chat. Is Lauren running for the House or the Senate? The FEC filing is for the House of Representatives. Let's see. When am I going to write a book, Chris? When am I going to write a book? I don't know. I actually have one started. When it's going to be published, I'll publish it when I have some time. But right now I don't have any time. So I'm not sure that that's going to happen anytime soon. But if anybody knows any ghostwriters, maybe I could get them to write it for me and just slap my name on it. Besides, who wants to read a coloring book? That's about my speed. Let me see here. Cynthia here. Oh, it was fabulous. Okay, maybe that wasn't the right one. Yes, he did do fabulous. Let me see here. Will I post event information, please? Yes, absolutely. So you are watching this on Facebook. So I want you to go over to Lauren Culp's page, and it's at the very top. It's pinned. If you will click that event thing, all of the event information is there. Or you can head over to thenewpatriotpack.com, the new Patriot Pack. That's PAC, not PACK. It's just PAC. Thenewpatriotpack.com. All the information is right there. Let's see. Kodiak Girl is saying, attending a PCO meeting tomorrow. That is fantastic. I want to congratulate you for that. Attending a PCO meeting is big. We want to make sure that as many people as we possibly can are going to get involved in the political process. Let's see. What are my thoughts on Jonathan Bingle? I don't know who Jonathan Bingle is, so I cannot have any thoughts on him. Let me see here. Let's see here. What are some other? Chris, send us a link to this rally and spread the word. Carrie, that there is a link. So you can either go over to the patriotpack.com, just copy the new page, the what's scrolling at the bottom. If you copy that down, the new patriotpack.com, you can send that link to people. If you want to go over to Lauren Culp's Facebook page, Carrie, what you can do is just hit the share button. It's the very top. You can't miss it. It's the very top post. And just smash that share button and share it out to whomever you would like. We definitely need to get the word out. Let's see here. Carolyn Smith, read the Seattle Times article and send an email to Jay Bruner at the Seattle Times and let him know what an idiot he is. Okay, I'm not going to argue with that. Jim's not one of my favorite human beings. So I would definitely just let him know. Just let him know what you think. He needs feedback because he's in the media. And of course, he's going to be fair and objective, right? He's going to only report the facts without any sort of leading fact pattern in his questioning. He's not going to do that. No, he wouldn't want to create like a false narrative or anything. So definitely send this guy an email. Let's see here. We need more. Oh, this is good. We need more pushback on being an illegal sanctuary. I agree with you 100%. We need pushback at the federal level too. We need pushback on the federal level. Why is it that illegal aliens can cross the border, the northern or southern border, get a flight out of Mexico or get a flight inside the United States, but Americans coming back from Mexico can't come back unless they can prove they don't have COVID? For reals. That's how it works. If you go to Cabo and you want to come home, you have to prove you don't have COVID. But if you climb the fence or cross the border, Joe Biden, Big Daddy Joe, is going to give you a plane ticket to wherever you want to go. And nobody seems to have a problem with this. So maybe nope. I was looking for this one. Do we have anyone groomed up for governor of this state? There are some people looking at it. I can tell you that. I'm not necessarily at liberty to tell you who, but I will tell you that there are people that are looking at it. And a couple of them have legs. Will the rally be live? Portions of the rally will be live. Yes, portions, not the whole thing, but portions of it will be live. We need Lauren Culp for president. I think Lauren would have a heart attack if we decide, if I would, said, hey man, I filed some paperwork for you. You're going to run for president. I think that might actually get me fired. Let me see here. Let's see here. What are some other questions here? Let's see here. Do I have a link for Telegram? Yes, I do have a link for Telegram. I am on Telegram. So you can look me up on Telegram. Just look me up by my name. You'll find me. Is our state going to take illegals? Your state is already taking illegals. So the answer is yes. Will Culp as U.S. rep push to finish the border wall? Yes. Let's see here. Leroy, does he need public endorsements? Endorsements are always nice. Endorsements are always nice. Mr. Culp's position on that is Lauren isn't giving any endorsements, and he is not necessarily looking for endorsements. If endorsements come, that's fantastic. The only endorsement that Mr. Culp has ever asked for is the endorsement of We the People. That's it. That's the most important endorsement that any candidate can get is We the People. It's never really been Mr. Culp's style to go try to chase people down and get endorsements. But if you would like to endorse him, then I'm sure, he's not going to tell you to go away. I'll tell you that. What is the Republican plan to turning Washington State red? Gordon, unfortunately, the Washington State Republican Party does not have a plan to turn Washington State red. They do not. However, there are other organizations within the state that have plans and are working on plans. Now, the WSRP might argue with me and say they do have a plan and that they've always had a plan. My argument, my pushback on that, Gordon, is that their plan sucks, and it has sucked for years and doesn't work because they can't turn people out. That's the bottom line. Either it works or it doesn't work, and we've been getting our asses handed to us for I don't know how many years in Washington State, so apparently the plan doesn't work. But there is a plan, Gordon, by a lot of like-minded people as we, who are putting together formal organizations who are actually cooperating amongst each other, which is amazing. And you'll never guess who's not cooperating with those organizations. That's right. The state party's not cooperating because they want to have control. So We the People, if we're going to flip it red, Gordon, We the People got to do it. We have to get involved with those that are actually pushing the ball down the road. And I believe that we can get it done, which is why I'm supporting these organizations. We all only have so many hours, so many days, so many years in our lives, and I'm not about wasting mine. So if I didn't believe that flipping Washington and trending this thing red and saving our country was possible, I wouldn't bother with it. So definitely get involved with these folks. Seattle is blue. It's hopelessly blue. It's true. But we've got to fight the good fight. We've got to get in there. Just because it's blue doesn't mean we go home. The fiercest battles that we saw in the war in Afghanistan and in Iraq, one of them was Fallujah. Seattle is kind of Washington's Fallujah politically. And and it was as far as the Democrat Republican comparison. And the Marines went into Fallujah, and it was a bloody battle, but they took it back. I believe the same is true in Seattle. I believe it'll take some time. I believe it'll take a lot of resources. I believe it'll take, by a lot of time, I mean probably a decade or more, maybe. But I believe that we've got to fight the fight. We just cannot leave it to the Dems to just be comfortable and pick off statewide elections and facilitate fraud out of King County. Just can't do it. So that's my 2 cents on that. Let's see here. Jill, what do you say to those who claim the Republican Party betrayed them? It depends on which way they say that it was betrayed. I have been betrayed by people in the party. The party is an inanimate object, right? It's like when people say, well, the church betrayed me. Well, the church really didn't betray anyone. It was the people in the church. I would say that the Republican Party hasn't betrayed anyone. I would say people within, factions within the party itself, the actual people, those folks betrayed people. And I would tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that it's not about party. It's really not. It's about, are you a constitutional conservative or not? Do you believe in the First Amendment? Do you believe in the Second Amendment? Do you believe in the Third Amendment? Do you believe in the Fourth Amendment? Do you believe in the Fifth Amendment? I mean, do you believe in the Bill of Rights? Do you believe in life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? All this other stuff are just like constructs that we lay on top of things. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the party thing doesn't matter. It really doesn't. What matters is your values, and that you vote your values, and that you nominate and that you support candidates, and you put candidates out there who share your values, even if you're not 100% on them. But if you're 70, 80% with a candidate, you need to back that candidate. If you're one of these people that's just like, oh, well, I don't agree with him on this one point, so I can't vote for him. Okay, and we're talking about minor things. We're not talking about something big like abortion. Like I'll give you an example. Dark Horse Political. I made a business decision before I even opened this company that I will not work with pro-choice Republicans or pro-choice candidates in general. And the reason is that I know one day I will stand before God. And I know the life that I've lived, and I know that I will have a lot of things to account for before God. But one thing I will never have to account for, one question I will never have to answer God, is why did you work to elect candidates who kill children? That will never be a question that I ever have to answer to God. So that for me is a hard stop. I'm not talking about supporting candidates that you agree with 70, 80%, but they're pro-choice. You got to have hard stop principles, right? So for me, you have to be a constitutional conservative, and you need to be pro-choice. Those are Chris's hard stops. I don't know what your hard stops are. You need to pick up what your hard stops are, and you need to figure out whether or not you can support those candidates. It's not about party, Jill. It's about values. What can us supporters do? This is Jennifer Johnson. What can us supporters do? Give us tasks and direction. I'm so filled with anger with this COVID crap, and now it's affecting the kids and the mask brainwashing. I can't take it anymore. What actions can I take to help the CULP agenda? So, Jennifer, I don't know where you are in the state, but I would say get involved at any place in the state. Just get involved where you are. Get involved where you are. Get involved with the local campaign. Get involved with the local party, the Republican Party. Get involved with local organization that represents a cause that is near and dear to your heart. The biggest thing I will tell you is do not be ashamed of being conservative. Wear your MAGA hat. Wear your conservative, your clothes that have conservative values written on them. If you're going to wear a mask, wear one that says that this mask is as useless as your governor, because the governor in Washington is a moron. He's just stupid. He's a stupid tyrant. He's a petty thief, and he's a tyrant, and he's insulated himself enough to where there's no consequences for people like him for anything. So get involved where you are. Do what you can where you are, and then grow from there. That's what I would say. Heather says, I just want to shout out Chris. Love your show. Heather, thank you very much. I appreciate that very much. Man, people were asking Lauren last night if he fired me. What, like a brother misses a show and all of a sudden he fired? Like, what's up with that? No, I didn't get fired. I just had stuff going on. Let's see here. Let's see. All right. Oh, we're at 46 minutes. All right. So let me take one or two more questions, and then we'll sign off for tonight. I spent a little bit of extra time tonight because last night I missed a show, and folks were upset, trying to fire a brother. Wow. Let's see. Oh, this is good. Joy. Our daughter finally took her son out of Seattle public school and into private school recently. Such brainwashing going on. BLM flags hanging in the Seattle public schools. All right. So this is my last rant for the evening. I'm sure I've upset some people. I'm sure maybe some of this is going to be in the media tomorrow. That's all good. Whatever. Print what you want. Say what you want, because it doesn't matter what they say. You know, if you are a politician, if you are running for public office, here is some free consulting. I actually charge money for this, but I'm going to do this for free. Okay. Don't listen. Don't sweat. Don't get scared about, well, if I say this, what's the media going to print? They're going to print bad things about you anyway. So say what you want. Now, don't be stupid, but don't be afraid. Don't sit there and say, well, we've got to craft every single word of this narrative properly. And you can ask Lauren. When Lauren and I craft narrative together, the one thing I tell him is, Lauren, just be yourself. It was one of the first things I told him when I met him in Spokane 2 years ago. I said, Lauren, I'm never going to try to change you. I'm not going to get you an image consultant or a speech guy to come in and try to coach you up on your vernacular and all that stuff, because I just wanted Lauren to be Lauren. Because if Lauren can't sell himself, then a fake Lauren people aren't going to buy that. So don't be afraid of the media. Don't be afraid of the left. They're going to criticize you anyway. Stop giving a shit what the left thinks about you. They don't like you. They're never going to like you. They don't care what you think. Why would you? I had a man tell me a lot of years ago, ladies and gentlemen, that other people's heads is a poor place to keep your happiness. Other people's heads is a poor place to keep your self confidence. Other people's heads is a poor place to keep your self-respect. It doesn't matter what other people think. Be you. Be who you are. Be a conservative. Be proud. Stand tall. Be seen. Your voice matters. Your voice matters. So, I don't know. I was on some sort of tangent, and then I went on a rant, and now I can't remember what I was going to say. This, yes, no forced vaccines. No forced vaccines. Amen. When I was in the Navy, they used all of us as anthrax guinea pigs, and I had a reaction to the vaccine that was not good. Screwed me up, and then they didn't make me take the rest of the vaccines, and then they stopped giving them to everybody, and then they turned around and started again, and then they stopped, and then they started, and then they stopped, I don't know if any of you were in the military back in the early 2000s during the beginning of the war, when they were sticking us with pin cushion, or sticking us like pin cushions. But I do not plan on being Bill Gates' lab rat. I do not plan on being Mr. Biden's lab rat, or Kamala, whatever her name is, Harris's lab rat. Just not going to do it. But if you want to get the vaccine, I think that's cool. It's none of my business. That's freedom and liberty, right? Whatever you want to do. If you feel comfortable doing it, then do it. If you're at risk and you want to do it, do it. But as for me and my house, we're not going to do it. That's just, I'm not condemning anybody. If it's good for you, then do it. If it's not, it's not. Just like if you want to wear a mask, wear it. I have no problem with that. I have no problem with masks. Wear it. Just don't try to force me to wear it. That's the problem. At the rally, if you want to wear a mask, wear it. If you want to social distance. If you want to do all that, fantastic, do it. We are not going to stop you. Nobody's going to make fun of you. Nobody's going to be harassed. But if you don't want to do it, then it's a protest, and you can, when they start arresting BLM people for protesting without masks, then they can start coming and talking to me about my rallies. So, all right. Anyway, it is 51 minutes, almost 52 minutes in. I really love you guys, and thank you for sticking with me tonight. Tonight was just kind of a rambling mess. I just want to sit down and have a conversation with you guys, honestly. We get on here and we talk about narrative, and I kind of feel like I'm talking at you instead of talking with you sometimes. But I really appreciate you guys sitting with me for, almost an hour. And I do have my coffee. I haven't drunk any of it yet, but I will drink it as soon as we're done. I love you guys. I cannot wait to see some of you guys again, or all of you guys, because I know all of you watching are going to come out to the rally. I can't wait to see you guys. I'll be out there. The Culp crew is going to be out there. We're going to have a lot of great stuff. Tim Iman's going to be there. He's going to be opening the gig. He's going to serve as the MC at the beginning of the show. We're going to have great music, great food, great time, great people. Bring your flags. Bring everything. Bring your cheer. We love you guys. We will talk to you guys next Tuesday. Good night.